it's lazy to just blame Kathleen Kennedy for everything, but she's a production head, not a creative head. Like you needed kind of what it looked like Jon Favreau was going to be, like the captain, the creative captain, and they don't have that, and that's maybe why it feels so rudderless and directionless.
Hello and welcome to the Cinescope podcast, the show where indie filmmaking meets fandom, pop culture, and everything in between. I'm Luke Walters, and each week I'll be joined by a gaggle of filmmakers, actors, writers, producers, everythingers, and we'll be doing a big deep dive into the world of movies, TV, and what really happens behind the scenes. This week I am joined by the gruesome twosome themselves, Dip and Dom. Which one is Dip? You'll have to decide yourself in the comments. I'm joined by local Lothario, Manchester's own Casanova, Monsoir Carrel, or Jamie Carroll.
Bonjour.
Bonjour. And then I'm joined by...
Look at your notes.
Who is this? Who is this guy? Who is this guy? I was getting ready. I am joined by the European gigolo himself, Mr. 50 Shades, James Dorman.
I really hope you keep this in. This is so cool.
Yeah, no, this is James's intro. This is
fantastic. I love it.
It's been a long day.
Let's go on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So this is our final episode of the series. So we're gonna go out with something big.
Well done for making it this far.
Yeah, if you've made it to all 10 episodes, well done, because there's some absolute clunkers in here somewhere. Oh, God. But yeah, we're circling back to a conversation that we've had previously, kind of. But yeah, we're going big, and we're going to ask, has Disney killed Star Wars? Dun, dun, dun. So, yeah, I'm going to open it up to both of you. In your opinions, do you think Disney have killed Star Wars?
I think Star Wars is such a cultural touchstone now that it's almost impossible to kill it completely.
Well, they've tried.
But they've fucking tried. But it's I think it's definitely a damaged brand. I think that for what they've done with it since they bought it for $4 billion, it feels like it's worth a lot less now.
Oh, yeah.
I think that they've definitely delivered a good few flesh wounds.
So when it originally got bought, back in, was it 2012?
I think, yeah.
For $4 billion. So do you think, because George Lucas had come out and he obviously give them the treatments, and they threw them in the bin, and then they did their own thing, and we got the sequel trilogy. Do you think that was a wise move?
No.
There we go. No. This podcast is actually going to be very ironic, because we're just going to be like, no, Disney did kill Star Wars.
I think that showed a fundamental misunderstanding they had about what made Star Wars popular from the get-go. There was as much mythology around the making of the movies than there was the movies themselves. It was the scarcity of Star Wars that made people get so into it, and they filled in the blanks themselves. And obviously, Lucasfilm were really, really clever in the years between the originals and the prequels by keeping it relevant with books and games and comics and everything, but they very deliberately didn't do anything cinematic, because it built, and I'm wearing a Star Trek t-shirt.
Yeah. He was a full Star Wars fan until we brought this up, and he's like, I'm changing.
I'm not going to talk about what's happened to Star Trek either,
yeah,
you
make a really good point. I think with the OG Star Wars, for me, it's when you watch a magic show and you're like, how did they do that? How did they do that trick? With the land speeder, where they use mirrors to reflect the sand to make it look like it's hovering. The puppeteering, the model work, everything was an innovation of its time.
I don't. If you watch the Disney have killed Star Wars, but if you watch the Light and Magic documentary,
it's fantastic.
It's brilliant. The whole making of those movies is as magical as the movies themselves, and that's part of the mystique that's baked into Star Wars that made it such a valuable brand. And they didn't seem to understand that, because people were always like, from the very first movie in the 70s, it's like, oh yeah, George Lucas has mapped out 6 movies worth and we're jumping in the middle. They said that more or less from the beginning. To what extent he had or hadn't, it doesn't matter. That was the narrative. But then Disney get it, and they don't have 3-movie plan for the 3 movies they're going to make.
just
They wing it. They throw out a 3-movie plan.
They bought a catalogue and then regurgitated it as IP.
Yeah, but they fundamentally misunderstood what made it popular. And it wasn't just like put lightsabers on stage. It's because it was that Star Wars is mythical within cinema. And they had that given to them, and they fumbled it right from the very first decision they made.
So do you think there's been any genuine magic since the Disney?
I do, actually.
Okay.
I loved The Force Awakens. I think it did its job perfectly
Okay.
to reintroduce the mythology of Star Wars within the movies to a new generation. And it was just nostalgic enough, and it ended in a way that you're really interested to see where it went next. Unfortunately, nobody had a fucking clue where it was going next, and that's where it fell apart.
So yeah, it was obviously a misstep with them. So JJ did the first one, Ryan Johnson attempted to do the second one, and Colin Trevorrow got sacked, and then they brought JJ back, and they fly now. And yeah, it was just a mess. I agree. I loved Force Awakens when it first came out. I was going to all the midnight screenings. I thought it was fantastic. I was like, oh, it is a retelling of A New Hope. It is, to be fair. But you could see that
it was shinier on a Disney budget.
Yeah.
That's what
It's
they
in
were
the
doing,
movie as well, because within the movie, A New Hope was like a campfire story.
Yes.
Like those characters were mythological. I'm using the word mythology too much. I'm trying to think of something different, but I'm very tired. But like it worked within that context as well. Like they were retelling the story of Star Wars, because Star Wars was legend within that movie. Like the original movies were legend.
That's a really good point.
Yeah. Oh, fun. No, I'm really glad we're doing this. But yeah, the second one, actually, to be fair, and I think Force Awakens was made a lot more akin to how the originals were made. And then I remember going to watch The Last Jedi in the cinema and leaving it. And me and all the boys in the car were like, that was good, wasn't it? Like that was good. And I remember because I spoke to Robin, and I remember he hadn't seen Last Jedi. And the more I watched it, I told him, you're not gonna like it. It's a Marvel movie. It looks and feels like Marvel have made a Star Wars movie, and it just felt like so clunky. And
well, they didn't shoot it. They shot The Force Awakens on film, didn't they?
Yes,
and then they didn't shoot The Last Jedi on film. So even then, like they had it by accident. It's like we've recaptured the magic of the originals because we made it like the originals. Then we're immediately going to bin that off. Like it's like they didn't actually know what they had at any step of the way.
They didn't know what they were doing with it, though. For me, it just felt like they were just trying to get a movie out each year to get bums on seats, to sell toys, to sell theme park rides. And they purchased...
It was a brand more than a piece of cinema.
Yeah. And then I think there was a point then where Star Wars had to take a couple of steps back to take a giant leap forward again. It went back to basics. I know we're jumping ahead, but then obviously, and now movies are starting to come out again. But the damage that the sequel trilogy did, it's taken fanatical Star Wars creatives who know the world and who've worked in that world and lived in that world, and used that space to retell the stories and basically not paper over the cracks like
shout out Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni.
Like paper over the cracks like Rise of Skywalker did, but to actually build a foundation for the, I hate saying the word brand, but for it to move forward.
They've done it twice at different points, but the way Disney's approached their release of it, they've made Star Wars not feel special anymore. Any new Star Wars thing was an event. When as it became apparent that you're watching a trilogy, but it's not a trilogy in that like here's a story being told over 3 movies. Here's 3 people doing their own thing, and then J.J. Abrams tries to stick the landing with 2 broken legs. Like it devalued it that way, because it's like, oh well, it's not this grand story. They were just making it up as they go along, and that's not very special. And then The Mandalorian came out, and it's like, oh, this is an event. It's the first television show on Disney Plus. It felt like something worth seeing again. And then just the sheer volume of content that's come out has again demystified it, and it's not special anymore.
I think, okay, so hear me out here. I think in modern day storytelling in terms of movies, trilogies don't work as much.
Okay.
I think it did with the original trilogy. It did with the prequels, more or less.
Yeah.
I think what Disney should have done, in hindsight, is actually had a plan for it. Really,
yeah. Which they should have given it to JJ, or they should have given it to Ryan, or and just
anybody.
Be like,
it'd be someone's vision.
This is yours. I mean, they got JJ back in because I don't know your opinions on the last Jedi. I think it's absolute trash.
It is.
It's just a rip off of Speed in space.
The narrative I
cool.
didn't like, but I was almost swayed towards where Luke Skywalker is at that point. I get the reaction to
it was too much like backtracking what came before. I think the last Jedi is worse in retrospect because everything that it sets up is then not followed through on. I think that it would have been better if they'd just gone with it still.
Have you seen Colin? Because Colin Trevorrow's script for Duel of the Fates had come out, and someone went online and animated large swathes of it and filled in the gap. And I was watching, I was like, I would have preferred this rather than Rise of Skywalker. I was like, it feels like a complete story, and it takes it on. And obviously, you get Palpatine doesn't come back. I think he comes back as like a projection or something, but for Omicron or whatever it's called. But I was like, it felt like such a missed out. I know Colin Trevor got sacked because of a failure of another film, and obviously it's backlash to this. But but JJ come back in, I don't know. You could kind of tell in the press interviews as well. It didn't feel like it was his film.
It felt like it was made by committee. It was like, what are people angry about? Let's write a quick scene, or not even a scene. Let's throw in a line of dialogue to explain that away, and then here's C-3PO.
It
Which, to be fair, he's the best part of that movie.
Rise of Skywalker feels very much like a reaction to The Last Jedi.
Yeah, it is 100%.
Where, like I said, the backtracking, but then they're just like thinking, right, what can we do to make Star Wars great again? Let's throw everything in. Let's go and throw every spaceship, every character that exists for, to me, an end game moment that didn't have the build up over 10 years.
Not at all. And it's like with did you hear the rumors that originally JJ wanted to split the films in two, and he wanted a quadrilogy, didn't want to do I read it at the time on Reddit actually, but apparently the rumors kicking around is like he wanted to split it and have a quadrilogy to give the story enough time to breathe, and they were like, no, you got to do it in one. And
because Star Wars does trilogies like that, they don't understand what it is that they've got. It's like, well, no, Star Wars movies come out in blocks of 3, so it's like, well, no, that happened because they were telling a 3-movie story. Like, if you can't tell in 3 movies, then make 4.
yeah.
But I do agree with what you're saying about trilogies don't work now. If you look at like Marvel, to like Far From Home, No Way Home, and Homecoming, they're a trilogy kind of, but they're part of the wider MCU, and it doesn't really work. It's like Thor kind of works to a degree, but there's no like
Guardians.
Guardians is probably the only true trilogy in the MCU, and I get what you mean by trilogies don't work anymore, and now we're kind of getting it with the Mandalorian. I've completely gone off track there, but we're getting it with Mandalorian now is kind of papering over those cracks, as you said, and filling in. It's like, oh well, look, they were doing cloning back in the time before the sequel trilogy, and it's like
they've got this 30-year gap now between the OGs and the sequels,
and
where
they're going to try and fix it,
try and fix it on screen as well as off screen.
It's just a bit of a mess. But I think Mandalorian has done a lot of things right, and I think some of it is a bit of a misstep. I think they're putting out too much. I think Book of Boba was a big misstep in my opinion.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, if they were thinking critically about doing something from a storytelling perspective, they'd be like, it's the wrong time to do a Boba Fett series now because we've already done a Boba Fett series. Like we've got a Mandalorian bounty hunter who's cool because he looks cool. Like we've done it. So just don't do it again. Don't do a Boba Fett series if you've already done it.
I would have loved to seen a Boba Fett series. Was it just a product of its time, in that it was just in the wrong place at the wrong time?
Like they've done all the interesting stuff that you could do with that character as it existed with the Mandalorian already.
Yeah.
So then they tried to do something different, but
Boba Fett isn't a Disney Plus Star Wars character for me. Look what they did with Daredevil, the series, like an R-rated series on Disney Plus. It would have been amazing if like Star Wars played in that space. And for me, Boba Fett's the perfect character to see really dark, gritty, almost adult Star Wars.
I think that was a reaction to Han Solo, the movie Solo, because they had Obi-Wan planned as a movie. From what I remember, I think they released a trailer for Boba Fett as well, and obviously that tanked. And then Obi-Wan became a series, and I think the original writer is credited on episodes 1, 2, and the finale, I think, because they used the basis of a script. And then obviously Boba Fett kind of went by the wayside, and then they come up with the Mandalorian. And I think it's quite ironic that the fan favorite episode of Boba Fett is the one he's not in.
Yeah.
And there's nothing against Tamora Morrison. That's nothing against
he deserves a lot better because
100%. Yeah.
But was that also the creatives trying to fix some of the off-screen issues with actors?
See, I don't know if they're self-aware enough to know that there are off-screen issues to fix. I think they just keep churning it out, and they're like, "Well, people like Boba Fett, so they're like a Boba Fett show."
There was a spin-off series that got cancelled, wasn't it? It's Rangers of the New Republic, which was meant to star Gina Carano.
Gina Carano,
who was fired from Disney Plus, and that a lot of the plot beats in that series they had to rush through Book of Boba Fett and Mando season 4 just to get it back on track. Season 3. So just to get it back on track.
I think Mandalorian season 3 is a big misstep as well. It's like the entire thing is supposed to be. I think season 1 was good. Season 2, obviously that end scene with Luke is probably like peak Star Wars. Like that was, But then when you go to Mandalorian season 3 and you're like, oh, they're going to Mandalore. It's the return to Mandalore. And then in episode 2, he's done it, and you're like, okay. Cool. What's the rest of the season? And it is Rangers of the New Republic. It's that the stories that they're just. I think one of them is actually one of the scripts was from Rangers of the New Republic.
One of the episodes, if I remember correctly, didn't have much of Mando in.
Yeah,
it was all set
on Coruscant. Yeah, I think that was a Ranger script. Yeah, I think that literally was a Ranger script that they just were like, oh well, we need to make it and put it over. But then if you look at like other stuff they put on, like Andor, I'm not gonna lie. Andor is my least favorite character in Rogue One. I hated him with a passion. As soon as I found out he had a series come in, I was like, I couldn't give a fuck. I was like, I am not watching it. And obviously now it's the best Star Wars movie. And I know you said the like fanatical fans are coming in and papering over the cracks, but you look at Tony Gilroy, who was leading that show. He's come out and said recently, like, he's not a fan of Star Wars. So I was like, do we need to get more Tony Gilroy's in to come in and make those Star Wars movies, the ones that are definitely getting made, Taika Waititi? Do you think that's the route to go down to try and fix it?
I think you just need to give a creative space to do something creative. Like the first 6 seasons of Mandalorian work because it's Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni making exactly what they want to, and they plan it out and they do it. Tony Gilroy mapped out, wrote, delivered Andor. In theory, that's what Robert Rodriguez did with Book of Boba Fett, but I don't think that's the case at all. That really feels like that's then the content farm thing coming in more. That's being pushed by sort of like Disney delivery targets rather than just giving a creative space to make what they want to make.
So, yeah, where do you think Star Wars stands? Because obviously the amount of stuff that's coming out now is like, we've seen the reaction to Acolyte. I'm not going to lie, I haven't watched all of Acolyte. I kind of watched two or three episodes and I was like, I'm okay.
It felt like a fan film.
It did feel like a fan film.
And I can't put my finger on why it didn't feel Star Wars. It felt like fans being given the toy box and creating their own series from it.
Yeah, no, I think you're killing. Oh, sorry, I can't remember her name. The one from the Matrix, Trinity.
Oh yeah,
because she dies in like the first 5 minutes, and you're like, oh cool, you're pulling a scream on us, like fantastic, well done. And I think the plot of her being a twin as well is revealed, and then you get to see Darth Plagueis at the end and Yoda, which shouldn't be there. Now the Jedi kind of know about the Sith now, 200 years before Phantom Menace, and it's a bit like you're just messing with established lore a little bit too much now, and it just felt. And I think because it's such a cool premise for a show, like the Rise of the Sith without the Jedi knowing is such a cool premise for a show, and this could have been the best one. And it just felt like, I don't know, it felt like a fan film. It felt like there wasn't much love, duty, and care behind it. And that's not saying, no, the filmmakers probably do love and care for these characters. But it just felt like such a misstep. So, yeah, do you have any opinions on The Acolyte, or are you just like not seeing it? Don't bother.
I've seen bits of it. I haven't seen all of it, so I will reserve judgment from. But I can only go off the trailers, and when Force Awakens trailer came out, just how much of a boner we all got as boys, right?
The trailer for Force Awakens was so
yeah. Well, all the movies, even the Mandalorian series, the trailers, for some reason, The Acolyte was the first time a Star Wars trailer. Well, I watched a Star Wars trailer and I was like, okay, great. I don't know why is it not getting me excited? So yeah, I think for me, The Acolyte, and I've still not seen Skeleton Crew. I mean, I think I'm suffering from a little bit of Star Wars fatigue.
Yeah, it's just a bit too much. It's like,
and that's what I was saying. Like, it doesn't feel
back,
special. Like a new Star Wars thing of any description should feel like a must-see event.
Yeah.
And it's like I'll wait and see what people say about it, and maybe I'll catch the next one. Like it's insane that we're at that sort of point with it.
Like with Mando, Boba Fett, Ahsoka, I grew up with Clone Wars and Rebels. So for me, the excitement wasn't just seeing brand new Star Wars. It was like, are we going to see these characters that I've loved as a younger person be adapted for live action? Who's going to play them? Are they going to do it right? Who else are going to bring back? They're going to bring back this villain, a bit like early Doctor Who, when we didn't know what villains or characters were going to return. So for me, the Mandoverse felt very much like an extension of Clone Wars and Rebels, and I was excited to see live action versions or adaptations of things that I've loved in animated form. Didn't really look forward to it as a Star Wars IP. I think that's the difference.
So with Ahsoka then, because I'm not a fan of the cartoon animations. I say cartoons as well. I'm not a fan of the animations. I just can't get into them for some reason. I've tried and tried and tried, and I just can't get into them. Not saying they're bad. It's just not for me, which is fair enough.
Fine.
Yeah. But I appreciate what they've done for lore. But so Ahsoka was essentially Rebels season 5,
pretty much. Yes.
Yeah. And I went into it not knowing much about anything.
And how did you feel? Did you like when you're approaching it as a new person? Did you understand a lot of what went on?
Yeah, I got the gist of it. Like I knew who Ezra was. I've seen the clips, but it wasn't so much of being like I didn't know he went off with some giant space whales and all that stuff. So I was a bit like, oh, okay.
So did you feel like you had to play catch up a lot? And did you feel like, for me, if you're bringing back a new character from a different series, you don't want to lay on the lore too much. So did you feel like when you're watching it, you want it to feel fresh and new, not feel like you're learning to play catch up? So did you have FOMO, like watching Ahsoka in a way?
No, not really, because I did get it, and I got who Ahsoka was because I seen her pop up in Mando, and I knew the story of Ahsoka, but I wasn't as invested in people being like, when she did end up in Mando and was like, oh my God, and then she got her own thing. I was like, cool. When Hayden Christensen popped up, and I was like, now I'm in. I want to see that story. I want to see.
Okay. See, for you, having Hayden Christensen pop up, for me, seeing Ahsoka was the same thing. Sabine Wren,
I get
so
it.
we all getting elements from all of our childhood Star Wars popping up, but it's just different platforms.
So there has been good Disney bits of Star Wars then. So we're in agreement that there's some bits have been good. I mean, like Rogue One, I know the production of that was a mess,
phenomenal.
And it was reshot a lot.
Phenomenal.
But it's phenomenal. Rise of Skywalker is a masterpiece. Everyone in the comments just be like, no, it's his awful. No, I'm joking. Mandalorian season 2, Luke Skywalker's episode of the Book of Boba Fett. Is it anything else? If we just look at those there, is there anything else that you could say have come out since Disney has taken over that you're like, that is Star Wars?
Some bits of Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Oh, okay. To be fair, I finished rewatching Obi-Wan Kenobi last night, and I actually really enjoyed it.
The feeling I had watching it was like, this is 2 hours worth of ideas spread out over 6 hours, and then you were like, it was going to be a movie, and they made it serious. Like, okay,
yeah. You can kind of tell, but it was supposed to be a trilogy. Obi-Wan Kenobi was supposed to be a trilogy. Yeah, it was. Yeah, so
wow.
So this would have been the first one. The second one would have been.
See, for me, that's where a trilogy works. So
there we go.
Yeah.
So,
Oh yeah, because they've created that sandbox to play in, haven't they? Where it's like,
Absolutely.
okay, well, he's got 20 years watching over Luke. Like, what does he do in that time?
Yeah.
Explore that. That's interesting.
I'd love to have
But
seen
just
that.
not quite like that.
Yeah, yeah, it's a bit. So, is there any other Star Wars films coming up? Because we know we got Mandalorian and Grogu coming up. We got
Christ, yeah.
Starfighter coming up
I
with
don't know.
Matt Smith and Ryan Gosling.
I'm at the point now where I'd have no real Star Wars anticipation because they keep announcing and cancelling so many projects. That are like, I'll wait until it's being released. Like,
I'll wait till I've got
really,
the cinema ticket.
Yeah, I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah.
Like,
imagine that you buy the ticket, you sit down in the theatre, it's about to show, it gets cancelled as they're showing it. Like we're pulling it now.
a film by Ryan Johnson.
So, are we ever getting that Taika Waititi film? Is that we're not getting it? No,
I don't think no. But they're very, very cagey about officially cancelling stuff. They just kind of let people forget about it,
Yeah,
and
they
then
don't-
announce the next thing. So which is sort of like
Is that-
conditioned me to not get excited for anything.
Is
Star
that because
Wars.
there is no plan and it's just a scattergun approach?
It does
It's
feel a bit
what's
like,
the
what
first
have
thing
we
that
got?
can make me the
Yeah.
quickest buck.
I think
Yeah.
it is gone to more of a product line money maker now. But then if you look at like the games, I know they're not so much Disney now. I think I think it's EA. I'm not sure, but the Cal Kestis ones, and they're fantastic. And it's like you should bring that. I saw something really funny because I can't remember the guy's name that plays Cal Kestis.
Oh yeah,
The guy he played Joker in Arkham, but someone put on was like Will Poulter should come and play him, and I was like, no, just get the guy. Just get
Cameron
him.
Moy- No,
Yeah, it is Cameron Monaghan.
is it? Yeah.
Is it Cameron Monaghan? I think so.
I don't
Someone
know.
please correct me if I'm wrong. I'm so sorry. But yeah, and people were like, if they do a live action Cal Kestis, they should get Will Poulter to play Cameron Monaghan, who is a very, very good, and he's very endeared by fans. And it's like, they should be doing stuff like this because that's an original character.
Yeah.
And
It is very weird the stuff they're picking to bring back. None of it seems geared to make new Star Wars fans. Like you're saying, you got excited by Hayden Christensen, so did I. But like, there's nothing there to make a new fan. Whereas those games, like that exists completely self-contained. Cal Kestis is a new character. If you wanted to create a new generation of 8-year-old Star Wars fans, put Cal Kestis in something.
Yeah.
As much as I love Ewan McGregor, he's not going to make new fans.
no.
Thing,
And his voice was a little bit off in Obi-Wan Kenobi as well. He sounded very nasally.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know much about the games. I'm quite familiar with Cal. What was his background as a character?
Gigolo.
Oh, fair.
No, he was a youngling that survived Order 66.
Is that what he was?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And he just went on the run, and then he got in. I think it was
That's another thing. We're talking about the demystifying of Star Wars. Too many people survived Order 66.
Yeah, a lot of
Yeah.
people survived Order
Yeah.
66 now.
It's
It's
also
also
like-
they didn't actually kill anybody.
No.
We've gone from like, Luke, how bad was Darth Vader? Like, there's one hiding in his cupboard. Yeah, it's like we went from like Return of the Jedi, the Jedi are missing, and then we've
Return
got
of
returning.
one of the 15,000 Jedi
Yeah,
are
there's
still
so
knocking
many
about.
now.
All the others now, it's like it's been retconned. It's like the others, they're out there somewhere. It's like
So it's like, why isn't Ahsoka popping up in the original trilogy?
Yeah.
It's like she's still kicking around and out there at the time, or in the sequels. It's like, I don't know. So if you could fix Star Wars, what would you do?
See, I almost answered this before, and I stopped my answer halfway through.
Okay.
Have a fucking plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
When we were talking about the trilogies and Star Wars didn't need to be a trilogy, I almost answered this question, and then I realized before the podcast we went through the format, you mentioned this one, so I held back waiting for you to bring it up. I wouldn't need a trilogy. Imagine Rise of Skywalker.
Oh,
I'd rather not.
Not after 3 films, after 10 years.
okay.
So imagine you've got Force Awakens as your Iron Man, Avengers Endgame, Rise of Skywalker, having 10 years of this build up.
Yeah.
Giving Luke Skywalker, don't kill him off in the first movie. I think it's a crime we didn't have the original 3 in a scene together.
Yeah.
That's what we should have had. If we had this build up, so we had 10 years worth, you can bring in Ahsoka as a movie, all these different characters.
Rose the movie.
Right. It's
Rose,
built
a Star Wars story.
But you know what I mean? It's building to somewhere. You're not just bringing in a
Yeah.
character for the sake of having a character movie. It's linked to this grander scheme. So when you have Rise of Skywalker and you're seeing all these spaceships in the background, you're having all these moments where these characters are coming back.
Yeah. And there's at least then like a slight chance that you'll recognize a single fucking one of them.
Right, yeah. So for me, it would have been have a 10-year plan and just build up towards that. Don't ask me what to do after that.
Yeah. Hard reboot.
Yeah.
Mr. 50.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say something similar, but I'll say have just one unified creative voice leading the whole thing. Like, say what you're about George Lucas constantly going back and picking at his work, but at least it was his creative vision at the end of the day. As many people as collaborated it, you had one person at the final say so. It's lazy to just blame Kathleen Kennedy for everything, but she's a production head, not a creative head. Like you needed kind of what it looked like Jon Favreau was going to be, like the captain, the creative captain. And they don't have that, and that's maybe why it feels so rudderless and directionless. Because
isn't that what Dave Filoni is now?
He's sort of molding into that a little bit, but not quite.
Right.
And it's a bit, and maybe it's too little, too late now.
Basically, Star Wars needed a Kevin Feige from the start.
Yeah.
And then you have your 10-year plan baked in because you have someone who's like, well, this is the roadmap. This is the creative roadmap, not the content roadmap.
Yeah.
And then another thing would have been no pandemic. I think the shift away from cinematic release to streaming content really did a lot of damage. Because then it was just like churn it out. What do we got?
Yeah. So I'm going to ask you some quick fire questions now.
Well, before that, what would you do to fix Star Wars?
No, I'd pretty much the same. I'd have a Kevin Feige figurehead come in, and I'd be like, "Cool, this is my 10 to 15-year roadmap. We're going to have this. It's going to lead to this. It's going to lead to this." I think you need to MCU it to a degree, but I think you need Star Wars needs to be event movie. It needs to be an event level movie.
Like MCU was at
yeah,
one point.
back in the day. It's like,
well, Disney's made the same mistake with all of their money-making IPs, and they've devalued them in the same way.
Yeah, because ever since that Endgame, and I know we've had COVID, everything's just gone so downhill. It's just Disney've just killed everything, but they've killed them all.
They've saturated their own market.
Yeah. So, going back now. Quick fire round, okay? Short, sharp answers. What's the most overrated Disney Star Wars moment?
Anything from Rise of Skywalker. Literally any frame of that movie.
Fair enough. Miss Monsieur Carell.
The whole movie of Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah,
I'm repeating it.
So we're just hating on Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I've got nothing else.
That's fair. That's fair. I think for me, it's Boba Fett riding a Rancor. I was like, cool.
Yeah,
I was like, cool. Or even it's just Book of Boba Fett. It's those.
I liked it because it was
Power
stop
Rangers
motion.
guys doing the spin, and I was like, come on.
No, that's a reference. That's a callback to when young Anakin said, "I'll try spinning." That's a good trick.
Amazing.
Jesus. Okay, so favorite Star Wars meme. This is all encompassing of Star Wars now, and I don't want a generic "hello there." I want a favorite Star Wars meme.
Now that you've put it in my head, I can only think of Temuera Morrison going like a bentha.
The one I hate would be like something like they fly now.
They fly now.
Somehow Palpatine's with, but they're iconic.
They're iconic. Yeah,
I think for me, meme it would be. Ooh, what was the one I'm thinking of?
Go on, I'll go to you, James. What do you think?
I said like a bantha, but I genuinely like any old woman who mistakes a picture of Ewan McGregor.
Yeah, that was mine. Yeah, that was mine. Was just
I've got a bad feeling about this.
Fair enough. Okay, so which character from the Disney era needs to disappear completely forever?
Kathleen Kennedy.
Fair enough.
Oh damn, that's a really good thing to just finish on.
Yeah. Okay, are we settled on Kathleen Kennedy?
No, I'm only joking.
Are we settled?
No, I'm only joking.
I think Kathleen Kennedy is a great producer. She's a fantastic producer. She produced from Spielberg.
Yeah.
She is, but creatively, Star Wars has been suffering. And I think it needs.
She needed an equal, really. Yeah. That needed to be a partnership, like it was with Spielberg when she was producing his stuff.
100%.
In terms of characters to get rid of, those mod bikers from Boba Fett,
like a bantha.
They can.
I stuck in my head now.
They can disappear. I quite like Rose. I thought she was a
My only issue with Rose was that narratively on Canterbyte, she's explaining to former child soldier Finn that war is bad. It's if there's any character who knows that already, it's probably him.
Yeah. I hated BB-8. I would have kicked the fuck out of that thing. Hated BB-8. Hated that hairdryer thing as well. From Rise of Skywalker. The little hairdryer droid.
The manic depressive Frick.
Them.
Babu Frick was so nice. I think
the Porgs.
Well, the Pogues were there because we've been to Skywalker Islands. The Pogues were there because of that. So,
you know what? Actually, I'm thinking the big issue is I don't really have particularly strong feelings one way or another about most of the Disney era characters. It's more how they've mishandled the legacy characters.
And I think that says it all. So, do you think Disney has killed Star Wars? Yes or no? Quick.
Yes.
You can't kill it, unfortunately.
No,
it'll never die.
Think, it's on life support, but it's still kicking. And that is it for the first season of the Sound and Scope podcast. Thank you to Jamie, James, and everyone that's been on the show. You've all been great fun. We've had some really interesting chats and some really savage ones as well.
You should see the stuff that didn't make the edit.
Mainly with these two, they're horrendous people that deserve to be in prison. But yeah, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. If you made it through all 10 episodes, I am so sorry. We will be back sometime in the future. Who knows? We might never be back. We might be going into the wilderness years of the Cinescope podcast. But please do like, follow, and subscribe, and let us know if you want us to go back. And let us know, do you think Disney has killed Star Wars? Yes or no? We will see you maybe soon in a galaxy far, far away. Who knows?
What you did there.
Is that from something?